I was there when the sun went out, when the sky cracked open and the wind forgot how to move. No one raised a sword. No one had time. In a single breath, rivers froze. Cities turned to ice. People, mid-step, mid-word, locked in place like statues. And at the center of it all, him, Vaelthorn. He didn't take the world, he ruined it. Now he waits in that tower, that damn tower, watching the wreckage he left behind. But I didn't freeze, and I'm already on my way. The wind remembers. It slips through the ruins of Velmora like a ghost that's forgotten how to rest. These streets once rang with steel and song, market cries, bells echoing from the palace towers, the brush of silk skirts over sun-warmed stone. Now, only frost speaks. It creaks in the bones of fallen buildings and sighs through hollow windows. Beneath my boots, it crunches with a sound too close to bone. I pass what remains of the baker's shop. I still remember the man, his laugh lines, the flour dusting his sleeves. He handed me a loaf of honey bread the day I took the cloak. I was 16. It felt like flying. Now the shop is a hollowed-out shell, its sign snapped, the windows packed with snow. The green stone beneath my throat pulses gently, the only warmth I carry. Not heat exactly, just memory, caught in crystal. Magic, old and steady. It doesn't comfort, but it never forgets. Once we were guardians, 100 cloaks in crimson, sworn to protect the realm. Now the banners are gone, the songs turn to ash, and I am the last. I didn't come here to mourn. Besides, grief's no use in a place like this. It rests beneath my collar, small and steady against the skin, as if it has a heartbeat of its own. We called it the Emberstone, a fragment of the old fire passed to every Crimson Cloak as they took their oath, a piece of warmth, of memory, of the magic that once ran through our blood, like sunlight through snow. Mine was placed in my hand by Captain Ilarin. Her fingers were still blackened with ash when she pressed it to my chest and whispered, "The flame is yours now." They taught us to be careful with it. That fire fed too often turns wild, that the stone should respond only in need, never in grief, never in rage. I have broken that law more than once. Even when I sleep, it watches over me. Some mornings I wake to steam rising from the ground where ice should be. It pulses in dreams. It hums in silence. I don't know if it remembers the others, but it remembers me, and it knows this road is ending. The statues are still standing, buried chest deep in snow, their features softened by time and frost. I make my way between them slowly, the ice whispering beneath each step. Most of the nameplates are too rusted to read, but I know them anyway. I know the way Captain Ilarin held her sword with one hand and saluted with the other, the smirk she wore when sparring with recruits half her age. I stop in front of her. She once told me that bravery wasn't something you were born with. It was a choice, one you had to make every day, even when your hands were shaking. My hands aren't shaking now. I turn away before the memory can linger too long. The air has shifted. It's not a sound that draws my attention. It's the absence of one. The way the wind has stilled. The way the hairs at the back of my neck rise as if they remember something I've forgotten. There, movement. A flicker of darkness between ruined archways. A shape that doesn't belong. Frostborn. I trained beside some of these faces. Guess I'm still the faster one. They move like men wearing their own corpses. Ice binds their joints. stretches their skin like parchment over brittle bones. Their eyes glow blue with borrowed hunger. I draw my blade. The steel feels heavier in my hand than it used to. The sigils of the fallen run down its spine, etched by fire, etched by grief. I feel none of the fear I used to, only clarity, only resolve. A hand bursts upward, bone stripped of flesh, armored in rust and frost. It claws its way from the drift, followed by the full skeleton. A once man, now no more than weapon and hunger. Then another and another. They rise around me like the past exhumed. I draw my sword. Let them come. The first lunges. I twist, stepping aside, blade flashing in a clean, practiced arc. Bone splinters, ice hisses. The thing falls apart like a memory unraveling. The second is faster, keeps a sword on its back. It swings. I drop low, sweep its legs, and drive steel into its chest as it stumbles. The ribs give. Something dark and hollow slips free with its final breath. 3 more shamble forward. Their eyes burn blue, flickering like candlelight behind a veil. Recognition? Regret? Or just magic? It doesn't matter. I press my palm to the Emberstone. It answers, softly at first, then all at once. Heat builds beneath my skin, a thrum in the blade. I speak the old words. Flame roars from steel. The fire lashes out in an arc of memory and fury. The Frostborn burn, not cleanly, not quickly. They collapse, still reaching, still blind. When the steam clears, I stand alone. The fog parts just enough to show the jagged silhouette of the spire. He is waiting. The Frozen Spire rises ahead, vast and jagged like a wound frozen mid-bleed. Its surface is rough with layered frost, and its towers twist skyward, too warped to have been carved by hand. It doesn't look built. It looks grown, birthed from the bones of the earth. And it is wrong. I slow my steps. The silence here is unnatural, not empty, but expectant. I feel it in the soles of my feet, in the space between heartbeats, like the world has paused for something to arrive. He is inside. I know it now without doubt. Vaelthorn. He was once a man, a scholar of the arcane, they say, trusted by kings, respected, perhaps even loved. But he feared something more than death. He feared being forgotten. And so he built this place, this monument of frost and time and ruin. Now he waits at its heart, a keeper of stillness, a thief of memory. The green stone at my neck grows warm, not comforting, alert. I reach for it, and then...
Come, huntress. Your fire dies here.
The wind rushes again. The ice shifts beneath me. I grip my sword tighter and step into the shadow of the spire. The entrance isn't shaped by tools. It opens like a wound torn through the skin of the spire, raw, uneven, and alive. I step inside, and the cold closes in behind me like a second set of walls. The corridor curves inward, its walls more organic than carved. Frost weaves in delicate patterns along the surface, thin veins of light pulsing just beneath the ice. They seem to shift slightly as I pass, as though something deeper inside the spire is breathing. The air grows heavier with each step. Mist clings low to the floor, not drifting upward but dragging downward, a kind of reverse smoke that hugs the stone and refuses to rise. Each breath feels thick, like I'm inhaling silence itself. On either side, frozen in the walls, are faces, not statues, not decoration, people. Mouths caught mid-scream, fingers pressed outward as if reaching through the ice. Their eyes are open. Of course he decorates with frozen corpses. Tasteful. I don't study them long. I'm afraid of recognizing one. The Emberstone pulses beneath my collarbone, warm now, but not with comfort. It feels more like tension coiled into light, the way a muscle tightens before a blow lands. I step beneath what once might have been a ribcage. Massive, pale, calcified. It arches overhead like the skeletal remains of something that lived here long before magic had rules. I don't know if it died in the spire or became part of it. The corridor opens at last into a vast hall. The air here is still, not calm, expectant, waiting. And there, in the center, sits the throne. It's built of something sharp and refracted, half ice and half crystal, splintered in places but still upright, still proud. No drapery, no banner, just that jagged seat and the echo of power around it. It is empty, but the emptiness is a lie. I take another step, and the shadows begin to move. I speak into the silence, not a whisper, not a shout, just his name, Vaelthorn. The spire answers before he does. The ice cracks faintly beneath my feet, not breaking, just shifting, realigning, a sound like pressure releasing from something ancient. Then comes the voice. It doesn't reach my ears, it starts in my bones.
You carry fire, little ember. Did you come for justice, for vengeance, or are you here because there's nothing left to burn but yourself?
I draw my blade. He emerges slowly from behind the throne, but it feels less like movement and more like he's forming. His limbs stretch from the shadows, grown of ice and bone and something darker still. Runes shimmer faintly across a withered face. What remains of it? His eyes burn blue, cold, deep, eternal.
Come then, huntress, let your flame test the cold.
He moves faster than death should allow. One moment he's shadow, and in the next, his blade is screaming toward me, carved from black ice, crackling with runes that ripple like trapped breath. I catch it on the edge of mine, and the sound is not steel meeting steel. It's memory meeting silence. The shock shudders through my arms, numbs my bones. Cold races up my sword like frost spreading over a window pane. I break away, roll to the side, and rise before he can strike again. He doesn't chase. He watches.
Your warmth wanes, huntress. It is the way of all things.
I'm not here to last forever, I say. Only long enough. We clash again, this time harder. His blows are perfect, surgical, soulless. There's no passion in them, only inevitability. He fights like someone who has already won. But I do not yield. I call the fire. The Emberstone flares. Heat surges through my limbs, through the blade. A deep crimson glow crawls across the runes etched into its spine. When I swing, it leaves a streak of light behind, like a comet dragging flame. I land a strike. He staggers. Not far, not long, but he feels it.
You burn so brightly, little ember, but you forget. Fire consumes.
His hand snaps forward and grips my wrist. The cold sinks in so fast I feel my ribs seize. The breath locks in my lungs. The blade falters. And for a heartbeat, I see it. The end. Then I remember them. Ilaren's smirk. Darren's dreams. My own voice. Younger. reciting the oath beneath starlight. I remember the ones who fell in silence so I could stand here now. I choose. I drive my forehead into his skull. He reels just enough. I wrench my arm free, twist the sword in both hands, and drive it forward, not with grace, but with fury. The Emberstone explodes. Flame spills from me, not just from the blade, but from every vein, every scar, every name I've carried. It erupts between us, a burst of raw magic, of grief turned molten. The frost splits. The throne groans. Vaelthorn's scream is wind and glass, and everything he's ever stolen from the living. And then he begins to fall. He doesn't shatter. He collapses, slowly, as if reluctant to admit it's over. Ice peels from his limbs in brittle ribbons. The runes etched into his bones flicker, dim, and gutter out. The throne splits clean down the center with a sharp, echoing crack. His blade melts into a black smear across the floor. I step past what's left of Vaelthorn and out through the broken hall. Outside, the storm has stopped. Not slowed, stopped. The wind is gone. The snow hangs in the air for a moment, confused before beginning to fall again. Gently this time, like it remembers how. I make it back to the city square before I stop. The statues remain. Ilarn's face is visible now, half thawed beneath the dripping ice. I brush frost from her cheek. For a moment, I could almost believe she'll speak. She doesn't, but her silence feels like blessing, not judgment. There are villages beyond the pass, people living under winter that was never meant for them. I don't know if I can save them, but I will walk. And as long as the fire remembers me, I'll burn.